Do you know that meme? It's not a meme, is it? It's a GIF. It's a GIF. It's a short animated video, isn't it? There's a little kid, there's a toddler, and he's running down a hallway, and he's excited, and he's happy. He's running. I don't know. He's running towards a lounge or something like that. And as he's running down the hallway, he clearly catches a glimpse of something that startles him. He doesn't like it. It makes him change his mind. We never see what it is. He's sort of running down the hallway, and he sort of runs off the other way. That's what happens. I'm sure you've all seen it. That was me the other day, by the way, and it was when I went on to social media after the Celtic game. I missed the Celtic game, had some family commitments, and social media can be a really, really good place. There's been two occasions. Number one, when I lost my brother. I don't mean I lost him, when I couldn't find my brother. I'd long lost brother, couldn't find him. Social media, I mean, rallied together. Brilliant. All right, help find him literally within no time. Amazing, right? And when I had a really crappy year last year and at my lowest ever, just the messages and the support are absolutely wonderful, and help, proper actual help as well, by the way. So when it works, it works. But there's another load of stuff that goes on social media which you'll all recognise, and you honestly, after the Celtic game, you would have thought we'd lost. People were angry, right? So I was the kid. I'm gone, right? I thought, I can't. What's going on here? And I realised, actually, I feel like on there that I'm in the minority. Because this is unfashionable. I'm going to say something really unfashionable. Me? Unfashionable? Surely not. I'm going to say something unfashionable now. I'm looking forward to the start of the season. I think we're going to do all right. And look, I don't know. Let's get it out there now, right? Let's say it. Can't read anything into pre-season friendlies. End off. Right, we're done. Understand that. But it's not that. It's all of it. It's actually us finishing the way we finished season before last and last season. So it's actually based on a season and a bit. We're all right. We're not a bad team. I appreciate all comments, and I will read almost every comment every day, and I will leave as many thumbs up, whatever, and comments and replies back as I can on a daily basis. Sometimes I could do more than others. And I always encourage particularly even a difference of opinion. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of difference of opinion on this particular video. But there was one a couple of days ago which said we're not going to sign any players and we're going to get relegated. and I thought, oh wow, well, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. And I think we'll probably finish in the top 10 and we'll probably sign about 3 players. That's my belief. That's what I think will happen. I am obviously aware that a couple of days ago I did a video saying, hurry up, please hurry up. Squeaky bum time, I'd like to sign a player. Yeah, I understand that. But I don't think we're going to sign nobody. Have we ever signed nobody? I don't know. Somebody else will tell me. In recent times, have we actually signed nobody? I don't think so. And you know what? I look back and I start to have a little bit more faith. I wasn't impressed. 5 million signing of a 28-year-old right back from Slavia Prague. Really? Doesn't sound great. Centre back from Watford on loan. Doesn't sound great. A cast off we can't get into Man United team for attacking midfield. We've got loads of attacking midfielders. We don't need one of those. I think I'm at the point now. I think, actually, do you know what? I'm just going to leave it alone, even if it's a loan signing. It may well be a decent one for us. I'll speak about Antonio in a minute because I still think that's key that we do replace him, but not replace him, but have backup for him because he's just sensational, isn't he? Really. And I know, yes, it was against Celtic, and I don't think Celtic are going to be much cop this season. They played. Did you see they played Midgettyland the other day? Very small munchkins. They played a team. And Celtic, I think it was 1-1 draw. So Celtic don't have much cop. I don't think, excuse me for saying this, I don't know much about Scottish football at all. I don't think, is my prediction, I don't think the new Celtic manager is going to finish above Steven Gerrard if Steven Gerrard stays there at Rangers. Just my opinion. I might be wrong. We'll see at the end of the season. So I don't think this is a fantastic Celtic team. But I do think we looked good. I'm really excited about looking at and seeing a lot of the players this season. I've mentioned Fornals now 4 or 5 occasions. I got a sneaky feeling we got a hammer of the year there. I don't think he was unsettled. I think he embraced the West Ham culture and living in a new country. More than most. In fact, I think all those three. Sorry, when I say three, Souček, Coufal, and Fornals. I speak about them right. They've got something in common. They basically weren't born within the sound of the Bow Bells, if you know what I mean. They've had a long way. Other bells where they come from. But they sort of get it, and you understand they get it. And I love the way that Fornals tried to integrate. I've mentioned it before. I love the way that Antonio decided he was going to learn Spanish to try and help Fornals settle in. Magnificent. You know, what a character. I love a few comments Fornals has made about, if I'd have grown up in Dagenham, this, that, what things to say. You know, I mean, he really is buying into whole culture. So I don't think he was unsettled, but I think he's going to be really settled now. And I expect to, and he's going to improve because he was only young anyway. So he's going to be, you know, he's 2 or 3 years away from his peak. And so he's going to continue to improve. And I think we've got a good season for him. I'm looking forward to seeing him play, certainly. Antonio looks, I thought do you remember I said the other day, I thought he looked physically fit, but he looked a bit rusty, his touch and whatnot. Well, not in this game, he didn't. Obviously, I've seen some of the footage now. So he looked really good, obviously scored a couple of goals. And when Antonio's like that, he's almost unplayable. And I know it's an if, and this is why we need to get another striker. I know this, all right? You don't need to say, what if he gets injured? I know. But when he's on that form, he is almost unplayable. He is one of the best, I'm going to say the best strikers in the Premier League, but I will say this, one of the most effective forwards in the Premier League. I think Bowen looks sharp and really up for it. What a lovely finish that was. What I've just said about Benrahma, what I've just said about Fornals, I think is going to apply to Benrahma to a certain extent. I think he is going to have a pre-season behind him. I think Moyes is going to trust him a little bit more. And I think he's going to be able to showcase his skills and probably learn from Moyes when and where he's allowed to dribble and stuff like that. And I think we're going to see a more effective player because of it. I think he's a good player. I really do. So that's going to be really, really interesting. Yeah, look, I've already discussed Felipe Anderson, Yarmolenko. We need to do something there. But there's still reasons to be really hopeful there. I like I've seen Ben Johnson a couple of times playing on the right back, not just left. I didn't want him to spend his career as sort of cover at left back, but he's worked really. There's someone who's worked really hard in his weaker foot. He's clearly working hard. I do think it's a confidence thing. I think he's going to be a good squad player. I think there's lots to be excited about. Lanzini again, it's a fitness thing, isn't it? If Lanzini can stay fit, I mean, we've got a really good player on our hands. I mean, technically, if he's going to play midfield, technically he's pretty much as good as anyone. Lanzini, in terms of ball retention, you know, ticking over, that sort of thing, absolutely wonderful. And let's look, we can sit here and we can do one or two things. We can sit here and say we're going to sell Declan Rice. Antonio's going to get injured. We're not going to sign any players. We're going to get relegated. But yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what. If we don't sign a striker and Antonio gets injured, I will whinge as much, if not more. In fact, I will whinge more than anyone because I whinge every day on air. But I'm not going to whinge about it before it's happened just yet, okay? Because I do think Declan's a tough one because I'm sort of hopeful that he'll stay. If he does stay, I think he's going to be sensational next season. I really do. I think our midfield will be formidable. I think Souček staying. I think Coufal staying. So, I don't want to. Look, we can have conversations, and we will. We will. That's a video. What will we do if we sell Declan Rice? What would we do with the money? So on and so forth. But I don't want to imagine all those things at the moment because actually, do you know what? We might sign no players, and we might get relegated. But we might sign 3 players and finish 10th and have some really good games this season. And I think that, for me, I think that's more likely. I can't quite. I tell you what, I can't get my head around. I can't get my head around the thought that David Moyes would sign if nothing was going to happen, if he wasn't going to be backed. He just didn't need to. Everton wanted him. I mean, that was clear. Everton really wanted him. They held fire on Nuno to try and get David Moyes. David Moyes just signed the contract here instead. They don't even have to have talks. with Moyes' agent. They know him. He knows Ken Wright. Ken Wright can just pick up the phone to him. I do wonder, actually, though, I've got to say this, I digress slightly. Remember I said a couple of days ago that they'd signed Everton, signed Andros Towns on a free, Damari Gray for 1.7 million, and another guy on a free? I wonder, and I do wonder this, I wonder if Everton are skin. Now, they may well blow that out of the window. Apparently, they're after Dwight McNeil. Well, apparently, schmerently, what I'm talking about. Well, maybe they do, and I think that's a great sign. I mean, really, really good wide player. I really do think he's fantastic. But I also wonder if David Moyes has spoken to Everton, and Everton said, actually, we ain't got a lot to spend. We got 30 million to spend or something like that. The cupboard's bare. We've spent loads of money. I think, so I do wonder what's happened. Anyway, regardless of that, I think if there was no money to spend, if there was nothing doing, I don't think David Moyes would have signed. I don't think he needed to. And let's not forget, I've had this confirmed by Stuart Pearce. Stuart Pearce was holding off until David Moyes signed. So then you've got to believe, to that happen, that David Moyes is going to be lied to and he's going to be cheated and swindled. Okay. Look, if it happens, we'll deal with it. Absolutely. We'll call it out as it is. But I don't want to start by now assuming that it's going to happen. And as I say, I feel a little bit unfashionable for looking forward to the season. But I do. I'm looking forward to Coufal's second season in the Premier League. I'm looking forward to an improvement in Souček. I'm looking forward to an improvement in Bowen. Looking forward to, as I've said, a rejuvenated Benrahma. The Antonio one does. It worries me. It does worry me. But I don't think, this is the other thing, I don't think Moyes is a fool. I don't think Moyes is looking at it thinking, but this is another thing you've got to believe. You think it's all doom and gloom, got to sign anyone. You have to believe that David Moyes is looking at it thinking, that's all right, I'll get Antonio through all the season. He knows that, surely. Surely they'll make some signings and something will happen. There's a lot of other stuff I'm looking forward to as well. I think Masuaku coming back, I don't know what's going on. I think he's training at the moment. I think he adds another dynamic to the team as well. I know he's not everybody's favourite player, but David Moyes seems to be able to get a tune out of a lot of these players because he's a really good manager. And there's something else that maybe's not always been the case when we go into a season. We're going into a season with a really good manager. And again, I can't look at it with the doom and gloom spectacles on, thinking, that's it, we're going to get relegated. And I just don't believe it. I don't think we're going to get relegated, and I think we're going to sign some people. How good those signings will be, I don't know. But I have learnt from being not impressed at the signing of Coufal, not impressed with the signing of Dawson, not impressed with the signing of Lingard. Perhaps I just don't know what I'm talking about at all in that sense. Maybe I've learned to maybe reserve judgment and have a look at what players actually come in. As I say, we don't sign any players. The window slams shut and we've lost our first 3 games or whatever the case may be. Whoa, we're in trouble. We really are. But what I'm not doing now is actually thinking, that's going to happen, so I'm going to get in advance. I'm going to get annoyed about that now. I'm not at that annoyed and agitated stage. I would be probably fuming then. I'm not there. I'm a little bit, I say nervous, maybe a little bit nervous, thinking, come on, hurry up, make a signing or two. I do wonder with the signings, though, when I looked at it the other day, and I think Leicester was the one, I've mentioned it a couple of times, now they've spent 40 million, but I look at a lot of the others, and a lot of the others aren't spending much money. I wonder if the transfer market has quite worked out yet how they're going to trade players. And I mentioned this for months before. I said I've been saying for months, people are going to have to be creative because you cannot. It is cloud cuckoo land to think that you can take more or less a year, more than a year, of no gate receipts in the Premier League. Everyone has, haven't they? I think everyone's got in excess of 25,000 fans in the ground, or more. Look, I might be a few thousand, but you get what I mean. The Premier League is between 20,000 and 70,000 fans in stadia. So a lot of money in season tickets, a lot of money in normal match day tickets as well. You can't just take that out of the equation and think, that's not going to impact how players are bought and sold. I think it is. There'll be some that it doesn't matter to, granted, but You know, our owners clearly ain't made of money. I think they've taken a massive hint. Yeah, ever take a hint, they've taken a hit. I think they're not skint. I'd like to be as skint as our owners, don't get me wrong. I'm not even sure they can afford to run the club adequately at the moment. I really don't. I really don't. However, I don't think they're in an isolated position there. I wonder what Mike Ashley's going to do. I wonder if Mike Ashley is going to... I wonder if he'll spend at all. I think there's a man doing a strop. There's a man doing a sulk. I don't have any sympathy for him because, as I said to you, the other day, you go and look in that South Shields Chronicle, you'll see failed attempts by Amanda Staveley to buy Newcastle United. I think if Amanda Staveley comes knocking to buy your football club, saying, "I've got a rich bloke, can we buy your football club?" You say, "No, Amanda, please don't, no, please." So I'd imagine Mike Ashley is probably believed the hype at the start, probably thought he was going to sell the club, and now I would imagine, bearing in mind there's been no gate receipts, and by the way, that must bring in some money, St James's Park on a match day. I imagine he's probably looking at it. I do wonder. That's why Steve Bruce is there, not popular with the fans, no money. So I think there's a lot of clubs. I do think that's going to be the worst of them. I think there's a lot of clubs who are going to perhaps try and be a little bit creative. And I know I sort of poo-pooed at the Pereira one, and I don't like the Pereira one. I think if we're too slow, if we're too sloppy, if we try and be too creative, someone else will just come in with the money and buy him. And I want to buy this player. I really do. That being said, maybe there's a scenario where this obligation to buy, for all the reasons I mentioned in the last video or two, is something. It allows people to put the payments off for another year because there's been a year without money. That being said, there is a new television deal. They have the security because the government waved it through, didn't they, to say that they can sign basically 3 years again with BT, Sky and Amazon. So they do basically have the same money again, which is good. Anyway, but that's that. I think we'll sign some players. Do I think we're going to sign... what's Moyes' first choice? Youssef En-Nesyri for 40 million? No. No, I don't. Do I believe he's got 70 million to spend? No, I don't. But I believe he's probably got 30 or 40 million to spend. And I do believe in the freebies and the loans and being a little bit creative. And I do think the squad looks thin. Don't get me wrong, but actually, I think the first team looks a bit sexy. I've got to be honest with you. I think it looks a bit sexy. I'm not just talking about Benrahma's haircut here either. I think the way they're playing football, the way we're passing the ball, I think is really good. And they might not be the superstar players we want, but I think we'll bring some players in. And I think we batted above our average last season by finishing... Where did we finish? 6th, didn't we? I think that was better than we could have dreamt. I think that was overinflated. I don't think that was a true representation of where we are. But I do think we're a top 10 team. And I think we'll be a top 10 team again. Because actually, not only... I know it's not a season prediction, but we'll do that another time. But Moyes' record at Everton suggests that'll be the case. And actually, Moyes' record at West Ham suggests that'll be the case. And so, as I say, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking at it and thinking, I know it's unfashionable. But I am thinking, you know what? Bring on the season. Bring on the season. I'm looking forward to it. If everyone gets injured and we sign no players and we're at the bottom of the league, look, I tell you what, we'll call it out and we'll have a whinge about it. And I will. I really, really will. But I can't spend the next 3 weeks thinking doom and gloom. When I look at the players, and I look at Bowen, and I look at Fornals, I look at Antonio, I look at Benrahma, I look at Coufal, and all these players, I look at that. Actually, you're a good bunch of players. I'm actually looking forward to the first game of the season. There you go. It's like coming out, innit? I've come out with it. I've said it. It's unfashionable. I'm looking forward to the start of the season.